What profession is far less exciting than people seem to think? Film actor. Even if you are lucky enough to work consistently, most film work is waiting around, waiting for the crew to be set, and you get to do your lives a few times, and then it's back to waiting. This is very true. From personal experience, I can say that yes, waiting is the name of the game. If you're not good at waiting, don't try to be a film actor. Although if you get good, you get to do what this guy says. Then again, if you make it big, you can basically earn what most middle class people earn in a lifetime just off a few months' work. Yeah, very true. Porn star. How'd you like, yeah, I would like that before punching into work. Not gonna read it because YouTube. Game tester. Searching through bugs and all kinds of errors in the game can become really boring really quickly. In short, actually playing the game is the smallest part of the job, and often you don't even get an awesome title to test. For every Metal Gear Solid, there's a Barbie's Horse Adventure or Rainbow Bright Studio. And yes, I know those games exist. Hey, do not knock Rainbow Bright Studio. Rainbow Bright Studio is amazing. To someone out there, somewhere. Working in a bakery. People romanticize it as being surrounded by the smell of freshly baked breads and peacefully decorated cakes, excited to show your art to the customer. No, it's more like going to the freezer and lifting boxes to wheel them out of the freezer on the cart, slamming down a bunch of cookies over and over, while your breads are proofing and slapping some frosting on a defrosted cake, squeezing a little rosette or something in there and calling it a day. It's repetition and it's monotonous. You can't smell the pastries because you've gone nose blind, except for whoopie pies, which just makes you want chocolate, but you can't eat any because you'll get fired. Well, it sucks for you. Also, use Febreze if you're going nose blind. Ooh, here's a good one. Pilot. Remember when you first learned to drive? How exciting driving was, and how much you loved it, and how you would take the car at every possible opportunity just so you could drive and be driving? Remember how many years later, after years of commuting and soulless travel along boring freeways to get to work, you hate being stuck in traffic, and driving has lost all its charm, and nothing but a complete chore, and rather not be doing at all. Okay, punctuation on that, but still. Well, that's a bit like flying, apparently. You are eternally commuting, that thing needs a little punctuation. You are eternally commuting and staying in places that don't feel like home, doing the same thing day in and day out, which is boring as heck, because you basically monitor a computer and do paperwork rather than 1960s style airline flying back in the day. Whew, that's a mouthful. Design engineer. I wish it was as awesome as Tony Stark makes it look, but in reality, it's mostly sitting in front of a computer doing fairly mundane tasks. I'm sure if you had Iron Man's technology, you wouldn't be saying that. The stuff he does with his hands, in the lab, you know, that. The whole Iron Man-ning, that stuff. Yeah, if you do that, you love being a design engineer. Also, if you can design the Iron Man suit, you love it too. Party princesses. Did this for around a year? Can be dull as crap if the kids are too young or too old. If too young, the party's just full of screaming and tugging on your dress. If too old, all the kids want a picture, and that's about it. The best ages for the party is 4 to 8 for me. Okay. Interesting. Party princesses. I'm pretty sure that clowns also had the same problem. That with the kids, they want to pull on their nose, they want to be lifted, all that stuff. And you're just trying to entertain and get a paycheck. Oh, kids. They ruin so much. Linguist. Cunning linguists. Linguists on TV speak like 50 languages, and when given the text of an unknown language, have it cracked and reading it within a day. Most linguists do speak 2 or 3 languages, depending on where in the world they work or worked. One of my lecturers could get by in 15 or so, but he was very much an exception, not to mention a genius, and cracking unknown writing system, punctuation, spelling, without a frame of reference, like bilingual text, is impossible. There are several ancient writing systems that have never, and probably will never be deciphered. Utrushin. I think I got that right. Sorry, Utrusians, if I screwed that up. Even with bilingual text, to get you started, it still takes years of what I imagine must be scintillating office work. Ooh, got that? Scintillating office work to come up with suggested translations. And then all the translated text end up being accounting ledger or something like that. Oh darn. Nicolas Cage is not going to have you in the next movie. No, you're not going to kidnap the president to get treasure this time. No. 9/11 call center, law enforcement, or anything in the emergency management world. Every once in a while we get to do something really spectacular. But most of the time, we're dealing with the same handful of village idiots every day after day. Okay, real quick note on the 9/11 call center. I've heard that, that can be very stressful and have a high turnover rate. Because you're just hearing people, dealing with horrible stuff every day. So, it starts to get to you. Architect. Dressing smart and chic. Carrying around rolls of beautiful drawings and models. Doing a big presentation, and then cutting a red ribbon around your dream house and dream clients. Aww. No, it's just arguing with local planners being shafted by builders and slagged off by everyone. Nothing you built would be nice. Oh darn. My darn architectural dreams have been ruined. Sucks for me. This guy gets it. Angrily written like a true architect. Wine glass emoji. I work with architects, and man, I wouldn't want that job for anything. As an engineer, my job isn't spectacular or anything, but an architect is basically thanklessly herding cats and trying to make something work with nothing while working on the most boring drawings imaginable most of the time while getting their soul drained because nobody will pay them to do what they really want to. Sucks. Rocket science. My fiance is an aerospace engineer at NASA and it's just sitting in front of your computer waiting for your simulations to run all day. Being a doctor involves vast amounts of time doing the same exact pile of paperwork every single day. And when you get sued, lawyers will scrutinize over paperwork looking for every single mistake they could spit on. Fireworks events manager. Oh boy. The person in charge of determining the order and setting off the fireworks for a public fireworks show. When asked if his job was exciting as everyone thought, he said, "Pretty much if you're seeing one fireworks show, you're seeing them all." Scientist. I spend most of my day wading through corporate and safety analysis instead of doing real science. Law. Jury trials are very rare in most fields of law, and most lawyers don't do things like criminal law, but spend their time on writing contracts and working on legal disputes between corporations and things like that. I spend 90% of my time answering emails, being on conference calls, researching and reading cases, and writing briefs and other documents. Boring. I wasn't thinking about law school before, and I'm certainly not now. Back to gaming. A competitive gamer. I did it for a few years, but I still know people that attempt to do it for a living. 1. Whatever game you pick, you have to play it to a point where there's no chance it's fun anymore. I know Super Smash Bros. Seemed fun, but I would spend 500 hours against an AI practicing L cancel and getting into spacing perfect on every stage with ROB, and when I'm done that, move on to the next move I need to start over. Please rewrite that sentence. The pressure is enormous. You have to work and work and work without pay, getting ready for a tournament. And after 15 hours of going through the bracket non-stop, you have to play perfectly in the final round. Because if you do everything perfect, you win $5,000 and be able to pay rent. Because if you slip up one move once with timing, that could cost you the game. Only getting 1,000 per second and risk getting a temp job until the next tournament that you won't be prepared for because you are trying to stay not homeless while working. Yeah, it's excruciating. If these tournaments pay a lot more people will be doing it. And the people who are good at it, they actually get money. Game developer. People seem to think we sit around playing games all day. We write code and solve problems all day. We have to game in our free time like everyone else. As a kid, I got picked as an ice cream taster in a big company that sells dairy products. I sometimes do get some treats, but mostly they just feed you crap. One of the worst ones I had was cotton candy flavored. Oof. I also had unicorn poo. That's chocolate with rainbow sprinkles. Whew. Thank you for clarifying, man. Oh, I thought it was real unicorn poo. Whew, you just saved me there. It tastes good, but the name would gross me out as a kid. I actually got 1 cup of ice cream for every test I had. My mom said too much ice cream is not good, and I had to resign. Well, no more unicorn poo for you, good sir. Movie technician. Mostly just 16-hour days of being tired and divorced. Oof, that sucks. Stockbroker is basically like being a cashier, but customers are nicer to you. And finally, working in the fashion industry. So if you're working in any of these professions, they're not as exciting as you might think. So, find something else that is actually exciting. So, not a rocket scientist.